simplify radicals with numbers, variables, and exponents. So we're going to simplify the radical square root of 28 x to the 10th power. First thing I do is simplify the numerical parts, where we're looking for perfect square numbers. The second thing I do is I simplify the variable parts, and that's where I'm looking for exponents, even exponents. So if we simplify the square root of 28, then we're going to simplify the square root of x to the 10th power. The largest perfect square that is a factor of 28 is 4. So I can write that as radical 4 times radical 7. The square root of 4 is 2. That's perfect. So I would write that as 2 radical 7. X to the 10th has an even exponent. So I know I'm going to have to divide. 10 divided by 2 is 5, which means that's a perfect square, and I get x to the 5th. So my answer is a combination of both of these. They're being multiplied, because that's how I took it from the problem. So 2x to the 5th all goes outside in front of the radical, and then I have radical 7. So my answer would be 2x to the 5th times radical 7. So second example, same deal. We're going to do square root of 80m to the 11th power. So I'm going to do the square root of 80 times the square root of m to the 11th power. So let's do 80 first. We're looking for perfect square numbers. There are different ways of doing this. So I'm going to get the answer first, and then I'll come back and show you the other way. The largest perfect square that goes into 80 is 16. So 80 you could write as 16 times 5. The square root of 16 is 4. So you get 4 radical 5. For the variable with the exponents, m to the 11th power, I'm looking for even exponents. And 11 is not even. So I can write, since it's an exponent, I can write 11 as 10 plus 1, which means I can write m to the 11th as m to the 10th times m to the first power. And 10 is my even exponent. The square root of m to the 10th power, I divide that by 2, I get m to the 5th power, and I cannot do anything with that other m. So these two pieces are being multiplied again. So everything outside the radical would be 4m to the 5th. That stays outside. And then you'd have radical 5m. So 4m to the 5th times radical 5m. So this radical 80, there is another way of doing it. So some people do not immediately think 16 and 5. They think radical 4 times radical 20. The square root of 4 is 2, so that comes out, and they get 2 radical 20. This is fine, and you can do this. However, you will not get the answer correct, because the square root of 20 you can simplify more. Square root of 20 is 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2, so you'd get 2 radical 5. And you still have this other 2 from before. 2 times 2, so you have it from the 4 and then the 20 again. That will lead you to 4 radical 5, which is initially what we got for the square root of 80. So just make sure when you're breaking down these numbers, there are specific numbers that you can simplify in multiple ways. Just make sure you're checking that radical and that it's in simplest terms.